Hello, I'm Mark McCloskey with Kyntronics, and welcome to the next episode of Ask the Expert, where we conquer the toughest questions we get in the field. This time around, we're going to do how does force feedback enhance linear actuator performance and precision? So we'll break it down to a couple different systems here. So force feedback can be good for quality control, for press applications, as well as assembly, etc. So you can track force over time to make sure a bearing is seated properly or collecting any data that you might need. So kind of getting into the technologies. So for electromechanical screw type technologies, typically you have to monitor the torque of the motor. So the torque of the motor may change depending on the tooling, depending on the weight of the tooling, depending on any resistance, any feedback that you might be getting from the system, as well as making sure that you're actually seeing the ramp curve of the torque, and you can monitor that over time. For hydraulics and pneumatics, so breaking down hydraulics, you need an internal, basically a pressure sensor, where then you can understand how much pressure is in the system at that specific cylinder. And then you need to do some controls and some calculations to get back to the force, correct? For pneumatics, same kind of concept. You know the cylinder size, cylinder bore, cylinder rod. So now you know how much your pressure at your air compressor is running. So now you can do back calculations. How we get around it is that we actually have in our closed loop hybrid system here, we have an internal pressure sensor. So it's on board. So there's no external hoses, no external leaks associated with that, no filters, nothing like that. With our system, force feedback is included as well as position. That's in another episode. For force, basically it's 1% of full scale of the cylinder capacity. For force feedback, we know the area of the bore. So you have the bore size, the rod size, basically the piston size, the cylinder in there. So the cylinder size, as well as the operating pressure. So that equals the force. So force times pressure times the area. So with that being said, we now have force control for those quality checks built in for press operations or assembly. So if you're interested in learning more, feel free to contact us at kyntronics.com. Thank you.